This is Swapn Bhartiya and welcome to TFR Newsroom. And today we have with us once again Dipti Borkar, co-founder and chief product officer at Ahana. Dipti, it's great to have you on the show.
Great to be here, Swap. Good to talk again.
Yeah, of course. You folks have announced a new security capability for Presto managed services. I want to go a bit in detail there, but let's start with the basics. What are these services all about? What value it brings to the customers?
Absolutely. We've talked about open data lakes for many times now. And with all this data ending up in the data lake, what's happening is that security is now top of mind for users and customers with all this enterprise data, third-party data, IoT data, all of this going into one location. And so it is becoming paramount to have secure and governed data lakes. And that is what we've innovated over the last several months and are announcing a range of capabilities with deep integrations with other services so that users can now build on top of data lakes with next level of security, advanced security.
Yeah, I remember we had a session, with AWS Lake Formation as well, the integration there. We'll talk about all those things, but let's just stick to this topic for now. Can you also kind of talk about, since you mentioned data lakes, I also want to talk about how if data lake is also evolving, especially from security perspective.
Yeah, absolutely. What I see happening is that the security concerns that were part of the database layer, because of this big deconstructed database that we're seeing now, that layer is moving out and it is sitting on top of the storage layer. And so that layer is now in the form of many different services like AWS and Amazon Lake Formation, Apache Ranger, and depending on customers' requirements, they might want to integrate with different services. We, Ahana, are a managed service for Presto. Presto is a great engine for interactive querying on data lakes. And so we integrate now deeply with these services to provide governance on these open data lakes.
Now, let's go a bit deeper into the service. I want to also understand, a bit about, go back to the customer's perspective, how they see their life changes because of these improvements, because that's what matters in the end, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. So think about it, right? As customers, the data platform teams start to build onto this next generation of the analytics stack with Open Data Lake Analytics, they want to enable their teams. It could be the product team, it could be the marketing team, the sales team, and each have different levels of permissions. You have one team that has perhaps more access to data, another that has access to different data at a different granularity. And that's what this enables. It enables fine-grained access control down to the row level of security, which gives them the advanced permissions to build on and make the most of their data across all these teams and have confidence that only the people who have access to it actually get access to it.
Can you also talk about some of the new improvements that have been added to Ahana Cloud? Because, sometimes, all these things work together.
Absolutely. So in terms of the capabilities that we've added to Ahana itself, there's a range of security capabilities. The first problem that we've solved is a multi-user authentication across Presto itself. And so now you have a range of Presto users that can be that are unified across all clusters within the platform. In addition to that, we have multi-user support for Ahana itself. You can have multiple people within the Ahana administration from the console from an authentication perspective. Once you know that your users are allowed to hit a service, access a service, the next level down becomes what data do they actually have access to? And this is authorization. We've introduced deep authorization with Apache Ranger. We've open sourced that plugin and capability as well. We believe deeply in open source in the community and have shared that back and have additionally added audit capabilities so that you can know what was actually allowed, what was denied, and actually have proactive governance on the lake itself.
Thank you. Just for our viewers who may or may not be aware of Apache Ranger, tell us what it is and once again, what benefit this integration brings to not only Ahana Cloud, but also users?
Yes. So great question, Swap. Governance is on the data lakes is has evolved over the last few years. One of the technologies that has emerged as very popular is Apache Ranger. Apache Ranger is an authorization uh, technology that allows users to grant different policies to different users. This sits in on top of any cloud, and so if users want to have a cloud agnostic approach as well as an engine agnostic approach, Apache Ranger is a good choice because it integrates with Presto, with Spark and other engines, and also can be run across any cloud. If you are on the AWS stack, you might look at Amazon Lake Formation, which is deeply integrated into the Amazon stack that we also now have integration with.
We have been talking since the early days of Ahana, but I want to just quickly, since it's also 2022, why not? Let's also talk about how you have seen the adoption of Ahana growing, and also if you can also talk about what kind of customers you're seeing.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's quite amazing. The space has evolved so much. We have grown so much since we started talking in the early days, Swap. A lot of great customer adoption across the space. We are not only looking at mid-market customers and users, but also enterprise customers. And with these advanced security capabilities, we are entering into the next level of depth from a market perspective. We have grown out our go-to-market teams recently as well. And so because of all these capabilities and the advanced nature of where the product is today, very excited about the momentum we have and the customer adoption we'll see even in the future. As an example, we have Securonics, which is a leader in the Gartner SIM space. They are using it for threat hunting capabilities within their a security application.
One thing more that I had noticed about Ahana, and especially whenever we have sessions with you folks, is that you also focus a lot on partners and partnerships. So can you also talk about the importance of partners in this growth of Ahana?
Yeah, absolutely. The open data lake space is it is a stack, right? And we are a part of the stack, but there are many other parts of this ecosystem. And so partners play a very important role. Of course, we partner very closely with AWS and in the cloud. We partner with table formats and transaction managers like Apache Hoodie, Delta Lake, Apache Iceberg, which are increasingly playing a very important role in this open data lake stack. And then, of course, governance, as we talked about, security layers that we are just announcing today with Lake Formation and Apache Ranger, and the companies that are behind those services as well.
I want to talk about integration with AWS, Lake Formation. But once again, I want to talk from security's perspective, and also if you can talk about when we look at cloud, cost becomes a big factor. We talk about cost is actual cost in dollars. Cost can also be in terms of time. So talk about, how do you improve things for your users? And, of course, as I said, any updates there?
Yeah, absolutely, Swap. So, the ease of use is a big part of the Ahana service itself, right? And the way that we onboard our users, within 30 minutes, you are able to query your data lakes. And we've come a long way from the 6 and 9 month Hadoop evaluations, that people would go through, right? So with this governance, the way we've integrated Ranger and Lake Formation, it's a couple of clicks of a button, and that gets you going. So once you have your Lake Formation set up, you essentially just enable it with a checkbox, and the rest is all taken care of for you. This saves many, many days of time, from a time perspective and an operations perspective, which obviously is a lot of value to data platform teams that have many, many things that are going on beyond just cost, right? Now, in addition, cost plays that's the operational cost, if you will. From an actual runtime cost perspective, there are areas that we are improving on, and that will perhaps be our next discussion that we have following up. around how we are moving to advanced cost optimization in the future. We already have capabilities like idle cost, idle time management. So if the cluster is idle, it scales down to one node, and you save on costs. But we're taking it to the next level, and that's something that's coming up.
Dipti, thank you so much for taking time out today. Of course, talk about these new capabilities and also share some updates of what's going on in the community and with the company. So thanks for your time today. And as you mentioned, I look forward to our next conversation. Thank you.
Absolutely. Always a pleasure, Swap. Take care.